Artificial intelligence, or AI, is transforming the world. It's already playing a role in conveniences like personalized web searches and shopping. But the world's superpowers are in a race to use AI for national defense applications and even warfare. Joining me now, former Google CEO and the co-author of The Age of AI, Eric Schmidt. Eric, thank you so much for coming on the show. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
So I want to start with artificial intelligence in the way that maybe it touches our lives we're not even aware of. Sort of, what are the banal ways in which we might interact with artificial intelligence, and how will that change over the coming years?
Well, today when you look at recommendations, the computer says, do you like this or that? That's an AI system. If you use Twitter or Facebook, the feed that you get has been boosted by AI based on what it thinks your preferences are. Google uses AI for translation. Today, systems are being used for video and surveillance and things like that. I recently came into the country, and I was a member of a travel program, and all I had to do was show my passport, and it said who I was. These are all examples of AI beginning to touch our lives, largely in minor ways compared to what's going to happen.
So some of the things you just mentioned are great, and some of them are a little bit concerning. We'll start with the concerning. You mentioned the algorithms. Often they are set up in such a way as to amplify outrage or give teens images that are said to be harmful to them. Can you talk a little bit about why that happens that way, and if there's anything we can do about it?
Well, let's think about how social media works. The companies are for profit. They want to make money. And they make more money when people use their system more. That makes perfect sense. Well, how do you get people to use a system more? You enrage them. And you enrage them on anything. And the reason that people do that, or the companies do that essentially, is that we know that people will transmit, that is, share emotional content much more broadly, much faster, up to 7 times faster than sort of well-thought arguments. And so we shouldn't be surprised that these systems, which are really early in their development, if you think about it as a sociological matter, that they drive for outrage. There's a potential with AI, and let me just explain how this works. An AI system can learn what you as a human being prefer. I like this, I don't like this. I'm prejudiced about this, and I'm not prejudiced about that. I believe in this, and I don't believe in that. And it can accentuate that. It can amplify it. And so I think there's every reason to think that unless we can come up with some public policy rule, the way we live online will get boosted and boosted and boosted by these AI systems that will drive this. And it's not good, in my view, for democracy.
Another thing you mentioned, coming into the country, that's benign. But of course, autocratic governments can use this to track people maybe in more nefarious ways. Is there anything technology companies can do to push back on that?
It's difficult. China is by far the leader here. Their surveillance technology is generations ahead of everyone else. But even in the West, our government for national security and public safety thing wants to do surveillance. It's very hard to mask your own biology, your own picture, and so forth. It's going to get worse in the following sense. There's something called basically deep fakes. And it's been proven difficult to tell that deep fakes have been manufactured. It produces these things which we've never seen before, actresses that look like actors but are not human, and things like that. It's going to get much more confusing. One of the problems with the misinformation space is we know also from human beings that if people see a false video and you tell them that it's fake, they still at some level believe it because it's so visually strong. And I think there's every reason to think that deep fakes, and in particular misinformation, are going to get significantly empowered by this revolution in AI. And you might say, well, why don't we just ban that? The software is generally open and generally free. So even if you banned it in the United States, it would be used in other countries across the internet against us.
Wow, it can't be uninvented. You mentioned China. And they're being ahead of us. Is there something we can do to try to close that gap?
It's a whole bunch of stuff, more money for research, more education, better partnerships. But the real message here is that China is no longer the China that you think of as, building low quality things en masse. They have really decided to focus on AI, quantum, energy systems, synthetic biology, and a few others at the state of the art. And they've set a public goal of being dominant in those fields by 2030. And it's important that we as a country do not allow that to happen, because these technologies that I just described are the basis, in my estimate and the estimate of my report. $50 trillion of stock market wealth is tied up in the invention of these new fields. So we want to make sure that our private sector, our universities, our government, our national security, the Defense Department, and so forth are using these at the state of the art. It's crucial for America.
10 years ago, I think most of us, maybe you're an exception, didn't realize how central to our lives our phones would be. Any sense 10 years from now what the device or the program will be that might play as huge or nearly as huge a role in our lives that we're not really aware of now?
You know, it's interesting. I was part of the iPhone launch, the original with Steve Jobs, because I was on the Apple board at the time, and I had no idea that these smartphones would become so important. I think a reasonable prediction is that the smartphone will get more and more powerful, more and more part of our lives, more and more personal for the next decade. It's not obvious what follows it. Many people have speculated that you'll have intelligent rooms and intelligent services, but there's so much investment now in smartphones, smartphone apps, and so forth, that you should think about your virtual reality, your metaverse, is largely occurring on successors for your phones. The things I'm talking about, you're probably going to be dealing with on the phone. You probably won't talk on your phone very much, but you're going to use it a lot.
Eric Schmidt, thank you so much. Really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much, Jack.